This is the St. Edward's crown. It's been placed on the heads of kings and queens as they are coronated for more than 300 years. But as monarchs from King Charles II to Queen Elizabeth II wore this crown, they were wearing the legacy of slavery. That crown was made in 1661, almost a century after the royal family started licensing armed British men to travel to West Africa to claim people as property, getting rich by selling them into slavery. The royal family helped create, fund and expand Britain's massive slave economy, enslaving 6 million Africans. The royals even fought against abolition, and they've been silent about it for 400 years. Britain colonised territory on 4 continents to steal their wealth, all in the name of the royal family. The British monarchy is super rich, and Britain itself became a wealthy country in large part because it exploited the people of the global south. And descendants of those who were enslaved or colonised are still paying the price.
Respect us, man. Apologize now.
But there's more. Monarchy and slavery have more in common than just money.
The British royals, not just materially, also ideologically, they sit on a throne that is justified in the very same way that slavery is justified. So if you're born to be a king and born to be a subject, they also told us at one time you were born to be a master and you were born to be a slave.
The British royal family and the UK itself are built on slavery and colonial theft. And they've spent centuries trying to hide that history. But it's hidden in plain sight. You just have to know where to look.
This monarch will not exist, cannot exist, without what is done in the monarch's name, without the plunder from the wars that are waged for the monarch and for the throne. The monarch cannot exist in wealth, cannot wear the diamonds dripping literally in blood money, cannot ride in golden carriages. All of that cannot exist without what is done, the daily dirty work that's done to prop up the monarchs.
The British monarchy is so deeply entwined with the slave trade that their involvement can be traced right back to the very first recorded English slave ship.
The slave trade and the expansion of African slavery in the Americas allowed for the creation of these plantation economies that gave birth to modern capitalism, that gave birth to slave trading companies, to the insurance industry, to port cities like Bristol and Liverpool becoming really significant on a global scale and employing thousands of people.
But slavery was just the first part of the story of how the royals exploited the people of the global south.
So they are not only benefiting in really basic terms in the sense that they are, investing their personal wealth in slave trading companies like the Royal African Company, but in many ways that is minor compared to the fact that they are investing in a trade that is helping them expand the reach of the British Empire.
Yes, the royals and other elites were using their profits from slavery to build an empire. From the late 1700s, they invested it in colonial adventures, sending private armies around the world to take control of resource-rich lands and the people who lived in them. The evidence is everywhere. But for more than 400 years, the royal family has refused to talk about how it made its money from slavery. And that's just part of the reason why many Brits don't realise how much of their privilege is rooted in slavery. Many children growing up in the land that colonised so much of the world are never taught about Britain's brutal past because there are no mandatory classes in British schools on slavery or colonisation.
The British are very invested in their reputation as civilized people, right? The people who supposedly brought law and order, civilization, higher order thinking, education, refinement, if you will, to those whom they enslaved and colonized.